I am woman phenomenally. Phenomenal woman? That's me, Maya Angelou. Welcome to this segment of the Afrocentrist podcast, The Woman, Her Story, and Her Impact, where I get to speak to women from across the globe, sharing their stories and how they are impacting their world. Coming to you every Wednesday, 4 p.m. GST. Of course, with your favorite show host, the energetic EJ. So make it a date with me every Wednesday. The Afrocentrist Podcast, proudly African. Hi guys, and welcome to this episode of the Afrocentrist Podcast, The Woman, Her Story, and Her Impact. My name is Ejiro Sakede, aka The Energetic EJ, and I am delighted to have you here one more time. Welcome to season 5 again. Yes, I told you this season is hot. Thank you to everybody who sent in their feedback. Because of you, the content is better. And I hope you're going to tell your friends and tell the other friends to join us on the podcast, okay? So today I have a beautiful woman all the way from Abu Dhabi. And guess what? She is a mom. A mom? Did I say a mom twice? She's a mom, an entrepreneur. She's an author and a coach. And she has been in the UAE for 21 years, going on 22. My God. So, want to find out how she's been able to do that flawlessly, maybe. We don't know. We're going to find out, right? But then want to find out how she's done that, and especially how she's currently impacting her world. Today I have on the show Marcia Mcleod. Marcia, how are you doing today?
I am fantastic.
I see.
All the better for seeing you.
Oh, you look so gorgeous.
Thank you very much.
Doesn't she? She does, yeah? Just look at her. Would you believe, I know she's going to introduce herself in a bit, but would you believe that she's the mom of a 25-year-old? Her oldest is 25. Gosh, I want to be like you when I grow old.
Black doesn't crack.
Ah! Did you hear that? Don't tell anybody. Black don't crack. Okay, good to have you here.
Great to be here.
When I heard a little bit of your story, I'm like, this is the type of woman I want on the show.
Fantastic.
I want to hear your story. I want my audience to hear your story, but also to tell us how you're currently impacting your world. So we're going to start by, who is Marcia Mcleod?
Wow, good question. Okay, so Marcia Mcleod is as you mentioned, a coach, entrepreneur, mom, and a businesswoman, It wasn't always like that. I came to the UAE 22 years almost, with my then husband, one child, and a bag of hope.
Whoa, wait, just pause there. 22 years. What was UAE like?
Yeah, it was a sandpit. Literally. And of course, I'm from the UK. I come from London, so, very multicultural, hip, buzzing city. And I found myself here. There was nothing.
Wow.
And I cried consistently.
What informed the decision to come over here?
At the time, my husband had employment. He'd secured employment. And to be fair, our daughter at the time was ready to start school. And it just seemed like, a great opportunity. The plan was actually to save a deposit for a house. So we thought we'd come here, earn some of that tax-free money. And after 2 years, we'll go back. Well, 22 years on, I am still here.
Dubai has that thing, or it has that hold on people. People I'm just going to be in the UAE, I'm just going to work for a bit, 2 years, and I'll be out. And 8 years later, they're still here. Right. Wow. So what do you think is that factor?
Well, having grown up as first generation Black British, my parents did the same thing, okay? They came from the Caribbean in the 60s, they went to the UK, to the land of milk and honey. with the vision to make a better life, and of course found themselves still there 50 plus years on. So I can see how that happened, because of course we went on to have 2 and 3 children. Lifestyle was good, quality of life was good, and of course we could always go home to see our families. So this became home.
Absolutely. So before we dive into, all the things and the work that you started to do over here, what is the best part of being in the UAE for you?
I would say definitely quality of life. I've watched my parents struggle, and everything was about work, and the focus was about work and earning those coins. And I'm not saying that, I haven't worked or my husband didn't work, but I just feel that we had a better quality standard of living, more quality time with the children, and we were able to give our kids a great start in life. And I think that's something that I may not have been able to do had I been back in the UK.
I see. Fantastic. I mean, well, this is not to kind of advertise for the UAE, but really, it's a cool place. Okay, you want to check it out?
At least come and visit.
Yeah, you want to check it out? Slide into the DMs. I've got connections.
Me too.
So we've got connections, so that if you have questions around that, just slide into the DM and ask. Okay, now back to Marcia. So apart from the family life and everything, when it comes to work for you, how has that journey been?
That was a challenge. When I left the UK, I worked with young offenders. I was in the criminal justice system. So, of course, I gave up my job. I came here as a dutiful wife. And then, of course, found myself not being able to secure work. So this was something that was difficult for me. I had never been in a position before where I was completely reliant on someone else. And so, once my daughter went to school, my husband went to work, I found myself feeling a little bit frustrated. And this kind of went on for at least a 10-month period. And the truth be told, I had decided I wasn't coming back after the summer holidays. I was not coming back. I couldn't do this life, as much as it felt like it was going to be amazing being this lady of leisure. The reality was not that at all. So this is when I started to understand the power of, my passport, right? Because before I travelled that summer, a parent had actually approached me and said to me, look, have you ever considered teaching English? And I thought, teach English? Me? You must be crazy. Like, no way. I've never taught anything in my life. And she said, look, honestly, you just need to be a native speaker. That's it. That's the only prerequisite. So I thought, okay, go along to the interview. Of course, I went along and got the job.
Oh, wow.
So the job was to start that coming September. So that was a purpose for me to come back.
Awesome.
And actually, that was the beginning of everything. Because I then started to teach. I was then able to make my own money. I was then able to make my own friends. My independence grew. My skill set grew, because now I was training and doing all sorts of things. And so I then became a qualified teacher after 5 years. I did a certificate in English language teaching. I then went on and did my diploma a few years later, which then meant that I could now train teachers who wanted to teach English as a second language.
It moved from just teaching kids to then training.
I never taught kids, actually. I never taught kids. It was always adults.
Adults,
that I taught. And so it then brought me into the corporate world. I was then able to get into a lot of the high profile companies, doing soft skills training. So it opened my network.
Absolutely. So then how did you segue into coaching, I guess?
Okay, so I segued into coaching because actually throughout that journey, as much as I mentioned before, I worked in youth justice, I came here, I taught, but always along the way, I was always helping people, right? This is something that's been innate in me from as long as I can remember. So, I would have lots of private students, they would offload and share their personal stories with me, and I would listen. But what I will say is that although I was doing these things, I wasn't happy.
How come?
My job, I wasn't fulfilled. Something was missing. I always felt like something was missing. So again, I had different roles. I had the wife role, I had the mother role, I had the employee role, but I wasn't fulfilled, EJ. I wasn't fulfilled. And so at one point I felt like I'm living my life for everybody else.
Except you.
But except myself, right?
Well, let's just let that sink in. Like, does that strike a chord? in you, especially you woman, sis, babe, does that sound like you right now? If it does, then pull your seat closer and hear how she's been able to move from that to who she is today. Not just helping herself out of that situation, but also helping others to come out of that space of, why am I living for everybody except me?
Right.
How did you do it?
It wasn't easy, is what I will tell you. You know, I was raised by very traditional parents. I, love my parents to bits. You know, my mum was amazing. I'm an only child, so of course, but, there was a lot of self-sacrifice. And so I feel that then became an expectation for me, that I now needed to sacrifice what I wanted in life. And of course I love my children dearly, but my children understand that actually I am an individual in my own right, and I also have to have a life, and I have to actually do things. And so I realized that by stepping into my power and being comfortable doing that, it's actually empowered them to support me, because they see that if I'm not doing the things that I love, I'm actually no good to them either.
Exactly.
Because I'm not in a good state, right? So I will say that I really reached a low ebb. I was severely depressed for a good part of half of a year. I think the depression kind of dipped in and out over a longer period, but there was a rock bottom stage, So around 2014, I really just said, I can't do this anymore. I don't like my job, I'm not happy in my marriage, I'm just not happy, generally. And this was hard because many people saw the alluring beautiful life that I was living, and so then I became this ungrateful person. Actually, what more do you want? What could you possibly want? You've got the sun, you've got the tax-free living, you have 3 children, you have a job. What more? But actually, there was something more. Yeah, they don't understand it. And you know what? It's not theirs to understand necessarily. But what I started to understand is that I wasn't alone. There were many other women in the same position, and I would even say maybe men find themselves in situations where they're not fulfilled, and that's not the fault of anyone else. So I would say that I understood. I did a lot of self-reflection. I started to do things like meditate. I started to journal. So this is where my writing skills started to hone in, because actually I was talking to others and they just weren't understanding.
So you had to start talking to yourself.
I had to start talking to myself. I had to start validating my own self and stop looking for that external validation.
Love it.
Because that was one of my major things, I think, that, I was looking for my happiness outside. So I was putting a lot of pressure on others. My husband, children, friends, to make me happy. And the fact is, if you're not happy with yourself, or you're not comfortable with where you are at within you, you're never going to be happy, because you're constantly going to be chasing. Comparison, we know it's the thief of joy. We know this.
Absolutely.
So I had to stop looking at other people and where they were at and how successful they were, and I needed to go within. So that was kind of where it started. And then I realized that, and this was not intentional, but people, especially women, were inspired by me taking some bold steps. But it was, as I said, EJ, it was a lonely road also, because I lost a lot of friends. I lost a lot of people along the way. But of course, in order to have change in your life, something has to change. So I'm okay with that, I accept that. I also subsequently lost my marriage too.
So sorry about that.
No, thank you, no problem. But I'm at peace with that, because I understand that I had grown and I had evolved. And so again, it wasn't about him per se, it was about me and my growth journey. Okay, so at the end of
I will just cut there, just to stay on that one just a little bit, is the fact that this happens. I think I've seen it happen a couple times, and most times it feels like it's with women. We are always on the lookout for growth, and so when you step into that place of trying to evolve, and it's now becoming like your partner is like, who's this person? I don't know this person, and what would you say to anyone going through that right now? Like, what would be what would be one word to encourage that lady? Like, because you can't say stop stop growing.
No.
You can't say stop evolving.
Growth is inevitable, isn't it? At the end of the day, we have children. They have to grow. We have to grow. We cannot stay stagnant. Yeah? Without growth, there is nothing. So I would say, and again, I'm not advocating separation or divorce or any of those things, but anything that's going to hinder your growth process, you really need to reassess. Yeah? You need to reassess, because if it's what you want and you feel like, in my case, I was not fulfilled and I knew I wasn't fulfilled, and so no matter how much I masked that and pretended, and I was dying inside. Yeah. So even at this stage in my life, okay, things are better, but I don't have everything I want.
There's always more.
But I'm happy because I'm at peace with myself. Okay, I'm at peace, and I'm not searching for that validation and anything else externally. Yeah. So I would say just keep pushing, and I would say, trust yourself, trust your gut, because that never lies to you.
Absolutely.
Yeah? You know when something is
wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, so now it led you into coaching. What is coaching like for you? I love that smile.
Coaching for me, it's something I love. I'm passionate about. And as I said, when I look back historically, I was always doing it. And so now I'm a qualified coach, but it wasn't necessary for me to have a qualification, because actually it's my experiences that I share with others. So when people are saying to me, oh my gosh, Marcia, you're so inspiring. No, I don't do this because I want to be inspiring. I want you to know that it's possible for you too, because it's the belief in myself that's brought me to this point. Okay? And so I want to encourage you to have that belief in yourself. So what I do is work as a facilitator. I'm not fixing the problem for them.
Absolutely.
No, I'm encouraging you to dig deep within you and to find the gems that are inside of you, because they are inside of you.
Absolutely, absolutely. So what does working with you as a coach look like? Let's just go there, because now we're segueing into how you impact your world, because you've said it over and over again, like, this is you're not doing it because you're not living like, oh, I want to inspire people, but you are finding yourself living your best life, and that is inspiring people, and 100%. So that goes into the work that you do. But what does working with you look like?
Well, you need to be prepared to do the work. This is the first thing. I am not afraid to say to someone I won't work with them if they're not willing to do the work, because at the end of the day, as I said before, I can't fix you. Okay, I used to think I could fix everyone. I realize I can't fix anyone. I can give you the tools to help you to fix yourself. So this is an action-based approach, because you physically have to be uncomfortable
with where you are at. And be willing.
Right. So of course, it's not just a case of I want to coach with Marcia. No, you're going to go through some serious, rigorous questions in order for us to see that we are a match. And can I actually help you? Are you willing to do the work? Because, a lot of us say it.
But actually, yes, we want change. Well, we don't want to do the work.
We don't want to do the work. So, I keep it real. That it's not all fancy and schmancy. No, we're gonna take it. We're gonna take it. We're gonna strip it back. It's gonna come back to the raw basics, because you are gonna have to look within. Yeah, because a lot of our issues are not outside. Yeah, they're within, and that's why I was able to say to you earlier, EJ, that the demise of my marriage, I'm at peace, because it wasn't about him. It was about me and where I was going wrong. So, I often say to my clients, if, something's triggering you, you have to ask yourself, what is that teaching you? What is it you need to learn? Because there's something going on there, right?
Absolutely. And then when you learn and then you move from there, it just makes you a better person. And,
100%.
And now you are able to, you're able to help others better. You're able to relate with somebody who's going through the same thing and help them say, hey, girl, this is how you do it. this is the way to go and all of that. And I'm so, I feel inspired already talking to you as well. You're such a strong woman, and I'm like, whoa. I mean, when I heard your story, I'm like, wait, what? And you look all beautiful. Like, it's
that's the thing, I'm going to butt in there because, so many people say, oh, you're such a strong woman. What is a strong woman?
Well, a strong woman is a woman who doesn't break down.
But I do break down, and that is something that I really want to, kind of drive home, because I know that people see me and they think, oh my gosh, she looks amazing, and she has it all figured out. And the fact is, no, I don't. There are many days that I'm in pain and I'm crying and I don't have the answer. This is the reality of life, and I don't hide that. That is something that I need to be in my authentic truth, because I think that's definitely helped me along my journey. This is it. Yes, sometimes it's glamorous, but I'm not having brunch every Friday and everything is okay. No.
Absolutely.
There are days I don't even want to get out of my bed because I don't have the answer.
But that's what makes you a strong woman, because the thing is, when I say strong, strong is you owning your everything. Yeah. The mess, the good, the bad, the ugly. Like, hey, this is me. Right. But a lot of women, I think even men sometimes do this, but we're here for the ladies right now. But a lot of us women, we are so good, or we've become so good at masking the pain, at showing up and saying all, and then sometimes it just lead into other nasty behaviors, like just trying to be in control of everybody around you just because you're trying to cover up your insecurities. Right. So please, just look at her. If you see her, seriously, are you not like, oh, I want to be like this beautiful woman, right? But she's just telling you now that some days she doesn't have it together. So that means you're okay. That you don't have it together today does not make you an imbecile. Does not make you, like, what would I say now? Weak. It doesn't make you weak. You are strong and you are not alone. What would you say to women, opening up somehow? I know this is a difficult one for a lot of women to really open up and share their pains, because they probably have gone through betrayals, when they share with the wrong person and they got backstabbed and all of that. How would you, speak to someone, a woman who has been through hurt, and because of that, they've just built a wall around themselves and they are unable to just get out of that wall?
I mean, that's a great question, because honestly, vulnerability is definitely the key. And I cannot expect someone to share with me if I'm not willing to share with them. 100%. And I'm glad that you asked that question, because that's definitely a place that I found my own self. I had shared things in the past, I'd been stung, but imagine if I wasn't willing to share now the power of my story, how many people I would not be helping. Okay. So what I would say is, of course, try to find someone that you're comfortable with. For me, it's about mutual exchange. So I am now not willing really to share with someone who's not willing to be vulnerable with me. And I feel that my connections are a lot deeper now, because I am more willing to be vulnerable. I have let go of that guard, and so I would encourage women, to let that out, because it's actually no good. It's toxic to keep that inside of you. It's poisonous, okay? And it needs to come out, whether it's in therapy, with a coach, or with a good friend that you can trust, but it is no good inside. And as I said before, I think, being willing to share, you just never know who you may touch and whose life you could change just by sharing, because, there's so many people out there that think they're alone and that they are the only ones that have this experience. Many of us, and I found this along the way, and I'm still surprised when I hear, my God, so many women are struggling with the same issues. So why not share our experiences and support each other and help to push each other through? Absolutely. Rather than sitting alone in the corner and, struggling.
Seriously, like, ask.
Yeah.
Ask for help, really. Like, I think, or I would say that I'm one of those who find it difficult to open up. Like,
of course.
It's so hard. It's so hard. But I'm enjoying, or I'm embracing being more vulnerable, and I found it really, really, really helpful. That's because fantastic. I feel, and I'm like, sometimes And that's what you say, like, or what you said, saying that just know who you want to share with.
That's right.
Pay attention to the connection.
That's right.
Because when you just feel that connection, bam, go with it. The few times that I've been able, your guts, the few times that I've been able to feel or sense that connection, and then I open up, it's been amazing.
Yeah.
Like the support and even the healing that comes from it is priceless. So
I mean, one of the things, as you were speaking, I know that we fear the judgment. Yeah, we don't want to share because we feel that. And I know in the past I haven't asked for help. But when I've been vulnerable and I have asked for help, I'm surprised because people just want to help. They just want to help, but how can they help if they don't know?
No, serious. Please don't be silent. Like if you forget anything, I hope you don't, because you can always click replay. You can always click rewind and watch this whole series again from the top. But if you forget everything, but please don't. Just remember this: never be silent. Right? I keep saying this, like there are good people out there. There are kind, like genuinely kind people who are not doing what they do to get something back. They're just really good people. So don't be fooled by the negativity around, the world today, to say people are bad, people are this. There are still good people. You just need to spot them out and be one yourself.
That's
because
right.
when you are a good person, you also attract good people into your life.
Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Ooh, say that again.
Your vibe attracts your tribe.
Remember that, says Marcia. Okay, so Marcia,
Yes.
I'm feeling like people were looking at this and like, I love this woman, I love her vibe. How can they connect with you?
Okay, so you can find me on Instagram at being Marcia Mcleod. You can also check out my website. All the links are in my bio. And if you check out my Instagram, you can see what I'm up to on a daily basis, daily inspiration, and food for thought. Look forward to seeing you soon.
Awesome. So also, I know she has a coaching program,
Yes.
right? So we're gonna put the links, all the links, Instagram handle, website address, everything. I'm gonna add it to the description of this video and also of the audio podcast. So please, you want to check that out for your coaching program. How do you onboard people?
Okay, so I'm actually currently working on a masterclass where I will be giving further information, but I also do one-to-one, so people can reach out to me in my DMs on Instagram, or you can check out, as I said before, my website and contact me that way.
Awesome. All right. So thank you so much for being here
it's been an
today.
absolute
It's
pleasure.
been an amazing time speaking with you.
Thank you.
And I wish you all the very best in your coaching. We forgot to say something about a book. What's your book about? So that we can also leave the link in the description.
Okay, so I've currently co-authored on a project with 21 other authors, where it's a book about relocating to the UAE for Black and Africans. This is something I wish that I had access to back 22 years ago, and it's literally just a snapshot of 22 people's lives, various different walks of life, but their experiences as expats. I'm also in the process of actually writing my own book, my story. Yes. So it's at the editing stage, so that will be coming out soon too.
Watch out. You are gonna love it. Like, her story needs to have a movie with it later on, so please watch out for that. I'm also going to leave the link to the book that she co-authored, and then just follow her on our social media handles so that you can stay in touch and know when her book is going to be out. Thank you so much for being here. If this is your first time on this YouTube channel, this is the Afrocentrist podcast. Please click on that subscribe button and please turn on notifications so that you are alerted, because this season 5, like I'll keep saying it every episode, season 5 is later than before, okay? So don't miss it. Subscribe and also share with your friends and loved ones. And please, if you do have any questions, suggestions, or you want to reach out to one of my guests and you don't know, you want to connect, please, I'm a connector, okay? That's one of my superpowers. So you can always reach out to me by sending me an email to theafrocentrist@gmail.com, or you can also follow me on Instagram at @theenergeticej_, and let's connect. All right, till I come your way again next time with another guest, another beautiful woman on The Woman, Her Story and Her Impact. This is the Energetic EJ signing out. Love you.
Peace.
Bye.
Bye.